Well, howdy, y'all, and thanks for joining me on today's episode of Good News with Trixie. I'm your hostess, Trixie. Today, we're going to explore some fun stories that will hopefully encourage your heart, strengthen your faith, and give you some gump back into your gumption. So take a seat and let's order up a dish of happiness with a dash of encouragement and sprinkled with some perspective. I want to encourage you today to stop living in the past with regrets, and I have two great illustrations to help drive this point home. Have you ever watched a frog on a lily pad? Frogs are kind of elusive creatures, so catching one in the act of being on a lily pad may be a challenge, but just go with it. When frogs jump from lily pad to lily pad, they tend to progress in a forward motion. When the frog has gathered what they need from the lily pad, maybe they were eating a bug. But when they're finished with the bug, they move on to the next lily pad. But in general, they keep moving forward. Plus, if they sit on one lily pad too long, the lily pad will eventually fill up with water, and inadvertently the frog will either be forced to sink or swim. It's almost like the lily pad says, "Been here long enough. Time to go." If lily pads could talk, that is. Anywho, the point I'm getting with this story is the lily pads are like past regrets. We all encounter past regrets while on our journey, but if we just sit in the lily pad of regrets, eventually it's going to fill up with water and we'll either have to sink or swim. And I'm not saying be a frog and go from lily pad of regret to lily pad of regret. That's not the point here. The point is, if you just stand or sit idly by one lily pad of regret or regrets, at some point you will find yourself making the decision to sink or swim. Sorry about that, just a quick PSA moment. If you are enjoying this content, would you mind liking this video? Maybe even share it with your friends and family. And if you would like to be notified about more content, please hit that subscribe button. And if you hit the bell, you'll be notified every time we put a new video out. Okay, back to our story. Here's another illustration. How should most of us drive a car? May sound like a dumb question, but there's a lesson here. We should drive our vehicles with our heads up, alert to what's going on around us, and looking forward through the windshield. We don't drive staring out the rear view mirror. Can you imagine how disastrous it would be if you, or anyone for that matter, drove their car while staring out the rear view mirror? We'd have many more accidents than we already do. Are you getting my point? It's the same thing with life. What's behind us, our past, is just that, behind us. We can't navigate through our future if we don't have our eyes on the road ahead of us and looking through the windshield. And which is bigger, the windshield or the rear view mirror? Of course it's the windshield. It's not the rear view mirror. Well, so is your future. Your future is so much larger than your past. Darling, let your past be a teacher to make corrections for your future. But can I encourage you today to keep focused on the windshield of your future instead of your past? So what's the good news here? The good news is that your future is bigger than your past. So keep moving forward. Look out that windshield of life and keep an eye out for your next big adventure. If you have some good news or an encouraging story or a funny story that you took a life lesson away with that you would like me to share with other people, please email me. You can use the link below. We love good news around these parts, so if you got them, let's share them. Also, if you could relate to this story, please feel free to comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Bye for now, and remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.